Hello, and welcome to Game 3 of a best of 5 between Mimile and Homayoun. Homayoun playing 20th Jäger, Mimile playing 8th Indian. And right now, Homayoun does have to pick up this win to be able to face off in Game 5 versus Mimile. Else Mimile will win, but 20th Jäger versus 8th Indian on Orsha North here. Orsha North, of course, very much a CQC focused map with a little bit of splattering of medium range fire. We do see early start though. IG-33 coming in. Recon plane as well. Very light down in the south for Homayoun. Definitely putting a lot of forces into this push here. Flamer for this flag, going for this flag. Looks like he hasn't spoken going to this flag. Alright, so he's hoping to capture almost 3 flags right at the start. Supported by this IG-33. The Flak 43 37mm, and the Pack 38 here. The 37mm here, interesting thing to note that I just found out recently, there's 2 Flak 37mm in the game. There's the Flak 36 and the Flak 37. Normally the Flak 36 is just a 88 nomenclature, but apparently they also named the earlier Flak 37mm as a Flak 40, or as a Flak 36, which does make it quite interesting. The Flak 43 actually has a higher rate of fire as the Indian Assault Pioneers get into this position early, taking the flag there. Jäger, though, get into a very good position here in the center town, supported by the Jäger Scharfschütze. So flamethrowers are forced to unload by these Indian scouts and the Vickers in the open there. MG42 doing good firing support, though, as well. The Flamer here that did get into position did quite a number on the Jäger, now forcing it into the open while the sniper takes shots at it. Surprised to see the MG42 not firing at it rather than going for the Gurkha's rifles, but Jägerschütze gets pinned down as well. The IG-33 focusing instead on some of these AT weapons, which maybe a bit of a mistake, but might just be auto-focusing there. Flamer also goes down. Jäger's here. Are forced to fall back. Jäger Pioneer are also getting blasted. Only one Jäger Pioneer sitting left, and well, it is a fairly competent unit, but to defend against that many troops, particularly Indian rifles and Gurkha's rifles are really quite good with triple Thompsons and 2 Bren guns, supported by the Indian Assault Pioneers. They should have no problem with that. Hurricane coming in for the IG-23 though. Focke-Wulf immediately called out as a response, and the Flak 43 very good at keeping things away, particularly if they're right on top of units like this. No movement down in the south yet, so Mimile not taking advantage of the little just splattering of units positioned here. Jäger did go down. IG-33 looks like it almost had an alignment bug there for a second, but we'll get back on target now. Likely going to... Oh, what are you shooting at? And constantly re-engaging. Really shows the need to have recon, right? We see the Indian scouts here, as well as the Recce, have perfect view range over all these units. Well, maybe not the Flak 37 or the 50mm, or well, definitely the Flak 43 here, but not the 50mm. Thought those were reversed. Bofors, though, getting on target on the Focke-Wulfs are going to force those back, so no more strafing for them. Other Bofors coming in. Not a bad move against 28th Jäger. Definitely have the Focke-Wulfs to really be a pain, and overlaying them because Orsha North is a smaller map here, having 2 of them in the center, here and here, does allow them to get overlapping fields of fire from about, I think their range is just over 2,000 meters, right? So, yeah, definitely some overlapping fields of fire there, which is how you kill airplanes, really. Homayoun versus Gurkha's rifles to the north. SP autocar has also moved forward. Jäger coming in to deal with that. The Pioneer did go down in the north eventually, but the IG-33, sneaky line of sight thing here. Ooh, the Indian rifles avoid getting blasted by that. Yeah, always got to be careful with this ridge here, stationing anything up here, tanks and such, because 2K firepower over here is rather deadly, which is one of the reasons why Orsha North is kind of this weird game where in both cases, right, while it's a heavily focused CQC map, the 2K support devices are absolutely crucial here, right? And there's only a couple of divisions that are both excellent at 2K while also having the support options for that kind of play. So it's not something that you see a lot here, because you still need the excellent CQC infantry to deal with the things in the forest and stuff like that. But just having 2K options here really gives you an advantage over your opponent. Still no action down in the south. You got Flammenwerfer, gotta get pinned down with a 2-inch carrier here. Just gonna completely try and force everything out of that town, if at all possible. As it's moving forward, Rifles Piet trying to get on target there, together with the Union Scouts, as it's open have no chance. And I believe the IG-33 here, it could fire position these units right now, which might actually be the thing to do, but yeah, now we see the overlaying fire coming in for that Focke-Wulf. Ooh. No, not gonna go down. Funny. Do get a ping on the Indian Bofors, but until phase B, I'm not sure if 20th Jäger really has any units worth doing, as it says it's open rushes forward. Bit of an odd choice there to leave one of the only units defending this town running forward, but it is what it is. Artillery now coming out for Mimile, 14-10. As I said, Homayoun does need to win this game. Man, what some recon would do. And like 20th Jäger doesn't have amazing recon, but I'm often quite surprised how little players take recon. It's like, oh, my infantry will spot for me. Well, really not, right? We do see a Jäger Flammenwerfer here, and if it did jump forward, it would face air instead of Indian Assault Pioneers. But if there was recon in this church here, I would wager that this Assault Pioneers in this 6-pounder, if the recon was upfitted a tiny bit, would be able to spot it. And this is like a perfect position, for example, for a Sturmjäger Fusilier with the MP44s, because then you've also got a unit as well defending the town, a very effective town defense unit, might I add, that's also providing you recon. 25-pounder, though, is going to get to work on this Pack 38 here, potentially look for some Sherman support. But the IG-33 has moved in an attempt to come up north, and ooh, we're going to see a Bedford go down. Looks like 2 Bedfords, actually. Nope, just 1. But likely not the first or the last. Ooh. There's another Bedford gets sniped here. Alright. Gotta watch out for your transports. Gurkha's rifles, though. Purple Thompsons versus the Sturmjäger. MP44s are good, but definitely more of a medium range unit, as the half-track there goes down to the 25-pounder. The early push for Homayoun has been pushed out here, but the autocar is going to run away from that Panzerjäger. The Assault Pioneers also just barely managing to escape from that Jäger Pioneer. Gotta be careful here. That autocar can get into a fairly good position here to ambush things, but does need to be microed quite heavily. Ooh, harder again. I wonder what's spotting for it, but gets another kill on Indian Assault Pioneers as the MG42 starts opening up on these Indian Scouts, which is a dangerous killer. MG42s, they don't suppress that much, so if you leave them firing at a unit like that, they will just kill. Their suppression probably worth buffing, I think. But that would already make an exceedingly high damaging unit just that much more powerful. Stuck coming in for the south here. 2 Jägers versus Indian Assault Pioneers. This is going to be relatively bad for the Assault Pioneers, despite being the dedicated CQC infantry. These 7 MP44s, or MP40s, are just absolutely deadly at that kind of a range. So, only taking a loss of 2 men there. Panzerjäger just has to be careful from this Indian Assault Pioneers, but this looks like it is going to squeak on by as the Stug comes in. Autocar did get into a position, but potentially this Indian Assault Pioneers is revealing itself here. Martyr on top there. Does have to be careful of all these Piats, so it's going to fall back. Jäger Pioneer as well, forced to fall back, and 2 Jäger coming up here. And to Homayoun's credit, if you can get a good position over here, you can cut off the reinforcing road with like a single AT gun or something like that. But certainly it's harder to do. Focke-Wulf coming in again. This is the one with the 50-kilogram bombs. Ooh. Spitfire comes into the strafe, not going for the head-on with Focke-Wulf. Potentially a bit of a mistake there, but ooh. Bofors firing away. And the Flak 43 pinned down enough that it's not going to actually force the Spitfire to fall back in time. And the Spitfire is going to get up back to the Focke-Wulf and shoot it down. Ow. And the Assault Pioneers did eventually move forward, but MG42 pinning it down before it does that. If this flamethrower would just top the house, would surrender that unit. As we see the autocar here go down in the south of the Stug. Looks like I did get a penetrating hit now, but there are just an Indian rifles here and a 2-inch carrier left. The Stug also on target. Jäger coming forward. Gonna delete that 2-inch carrier. Not throw it against the Stug either, and the 6-pounder is not in kind of position to deal with that. It's gonna have to be marched forward if it does unload in that position. And although these units down south here, this is very precarious for Mimile. Potentially 2 flags coming in for the loss here. 2-inch carrier trying to deal with this Stug. It is damaged, so maybe not the worst thing in the world, but pin down Flak 43 does finally force the Spitfire up. We see just how long that took there. Jäger Pioneer versus Indian rifles. These are the ones with just 1 Thompson and a brain gun, but still managed to do their job. You take a TNT to the face though, so it's probably a worthwhile trade for that. As these reinforcements haven't been sniped by this autocar. Bit out of position there. But for now, it just means that Homayoun doesn't notice it. Jäger to take out the 2-inch carrier. Sturmjäger and Jäger coming forward now. Sturmjäger definitely going to be dangerous in these buildings at 300-meter range. Jäger getting pinned down. Jäger Pioneer coming in. 57mm is going to move up and unload. Finally, trying to get out on the Stug. And your rifles does hop out. Sturmjäger, Jäger, and another Jäger coming in. I would wager these units are about to get cleaned out. 25-pounders, still doing a good job to keep this Flak 43 pinned down, but no AA to really take it out. As the Sherman goes down to the Pack 38 here. SP autocar is revealing its position with the 50 cal. I did get 1 snipe, but now with the 50 cal and the Focke-Wulf 190 coming out, Homayoun definitely wanted to prioritize that. We see Stug coming in from the other angle actually to get a shot on, and it is going to get it. Potentially 1 more shot for the kill there. The Eagles have moved forward, and the Pack 38 is on this road. Not quite moving yet, but that could be another dead Sherman there. Jäger Pioneer versus Indian rifles. 2 managed to get a kill. The Indian rifles was quite low, I mean, taking a TNT to the face there. And 5 G43s are nothing really to balk about. The Spitfire actually loses target on the Sturmjäger. Yeah, I gotta remember to fire position your units. Sturmjäger, Jäger, lots of Jägers coming in, and all brought into 2-star by the Jäger Pioneer field. This AT gun is going to be forced to fall back and just has to hope that these Jägers don't get into position. Spitfire does come back around for the bombing run. Kills the Sturmjäger. Important unit there, but another Jäger Pioneer coming in. Second Flak 43 out as well. That's 3 more Zetztopmer that's going to rush for this flag. And now, there's not actually any MGs or anything here to prevent this. Sure, there's a 6-pounder. But I don't think the 6-pounder can reload quick enough for the Zetztopmer. One of the things, though, in 20 of the Jäger, is I don't think you really need a Zetztopmer. Stug doing a good job here to force off some of these units, but definitely has been shored up quite a bit from against this push. Anyway, you've got 20 points Jäger in the, well, 28th Jäger, right? So, why bother using a Zetztopmer at all? A Zetztopmer are a unit that relies on support. So I like using them with tanks and stuff, because then you can essentially have more tanks out on the field, while not having to really bother with, like, proper infantry support, right? Because in that case, you are just using the Zetztopmer as a screening force. But here, they don't have any staying power, right? If this Zetztopmer was a, oh, what's it called? If this Zetztopmer was a Jäger, it might actually have a chance to kill this Bofors here. And instead, it's just gonna sit there. Sure, it's captured a flag, but it can't even take out the 6-pounder by itself. If this had been 2-3 Jägers, would have been much more effective there for only the cost of an extra Zetztopmer. Stug coming in. Focke-Wulf still in the open here. 5 did move up forward. Infantry is slowly being forced back here. Back to the 12-12. 14 minutes into this game, though, the crucial B phase has been reached. The Flak 43 did eventually go down. Jäger Pioneer, though, doing good against his Indian rifles. Looks like the TNT units did get cleared out. And, man, those Rangers perks are behind enemy lines perks. The front line always gets me there. 81mm mortar versus the Bovers. If you get enough shots on target, it can do some good damage, but yeah, with how inaccurate they are at range, it looks like to be just on the edge of its range too. We saw 6 shots go down. And, oh, actually one did hit, so worth it for that. But, yeah, do have to very much a luck factor to kill them with mortars. And now we see 2 Indian rifles versus that's once again the Jägers, which have a much better chance here with MP40s versus the Indian rifles. These can just get pinned down and die rather quickly. Jäger Pioneer here. Stug is almost out of HE. Might get actually a snipe here. It isn't a great position for it as long as they got something spawning for it. One of these units does go down. Ooh, he's gonna get the second one as well. Dangerous for me there. Low health Jäger though versus unvetted Indian rifles. Not gonna have the reload speed before it does go down. Jäger Pioneer might get off another grenade on this Indian rifles though, which would be relatively cost effective, I would say, having killed the units that it already has. Still not quite in a position to cover out the rest of this road with any recon, but ooh, Jäger Pioneer actually gets away with that. Funny to see. Spitfire coming in again, but Black 43 is up and about. Does kill the Jäger Pioneer, so important kill there. Another Bofors coming in, finally gonna force off the recon here. The Stug has managed to come in here, so let's have to be a little bit careful with the Sherman. Or the Sherman has to be a bit careful now, but we see just a load of 2-star Jäger? Now that is interesting. Would mean 3 stars if brought in with a leader. No, Jäger Pioneer coming in. No, once again, no AT now, or anything really on this hill to prevent another push from potentially materializing, except for these Indian rifles. Jäger Pioneer actually gets a surrender on a final unit there, as a Sturmjäger comes in. The Sturmjäger in these houses, with everything being medium-range engagement here, very dangerous, so I don't think we'll see that we can get pushed out of this position anytime soon. And in the middle here, all these Esatztruppen, I guess they finally paid off now that this IG-33 is here, and providing excellent support together with the Jäger MG-42, right? Like, this is an acceptable use of Esatztruppen, I would say, backed up by IGs and tanks and machine guns, but more Focke-Wulfs coming into the center here. This Bofors is out of position, so they're going to drop, forcing all these infantry back, but Esatztruppen is not in position really to take advantage of them. It is going to force them out into the open, though, and as long as these are spotted, potentially by this Esatztruppen, this IG-33 is just going to have a field day. Spitfire coming in. There's no AA here. Oop, Flat 43 down in the south is getting a couple of shots on. These are going to retreat, though. The Spitfire is not going to get away with that. The old Battle Schwimmwagen coming in. That's a 210mm off map. Oop, looks like the Stug got pietted. Oh, man. And now if this position gets off map, fairly dangerous there. Getting the field engineers in the medium cover, I don't know, that might have been a trade worth taking. Jäger out in the open here, spawning for the Pack 50, or Pack 38, and once again we see that it couldn't spot those transports in time, making it kind of useless, right? What's the point of the infantry spotting for you if it ain't looking at anything? Still coming in though, there's a Sherman up here, and the closer the range, the better advantage that Sherman has. But still a dangerous target. Sturmhaubitze as well coming in. Gonna prevent anything on top of this hill, and then you could theoretically just put a couple of units down at the bottom of the hill. Once again, this position here, quite cleaned out here. The efficiency of the Jägers and the Sturmjägers really paying off here, as the Sturmjägers are going to advance and outrunning straight into the field engineer, but the field engineer can only really take out one of these units unless they're clumped up like this. And they are going to go for the Jäger Pioneer, which is low health already. So, Sturmjägers might get away with just blowing that up, or alternatively... Oh, they didn't get their TNT off then, they did now. Do get the kill on the field engineers. And actually, wow, those 2 Sturmjägers take a lot of damage there. But are left alive. 2 more Jäger Pioneers coming in. Could potentially clear up this. Panzerjäger as well. Moving in with the Jäger Pioneers might be able to kill the Sherman. So, off-map did come down. Bunch of units been down. No kills though. Another Panzerjäger coming in for that Sherman. The Sturmjägers and the Jägers could push forward. Particularly the Sturmjägers through this yellow cover. Very dangerous. And then the Jägers just along this green line. And these Indian rifles really don't stand a chance. They're not as good as the Gurkha's rifles. Single Bren gun, single Thompson, no AT either. Not really a fan of them, but there are certainly a lot of them, and if you need cheap spammable infantry to counter Jäger, I guess that's your best bet in this deck, but really, you're not going to win the infantry fight in that case, just because the Jägers do have so many MP40s. Your Pioneers coming in. Gotta clean up this forest, no problem. And your Assault Pioneer's gonna get surrounded again, as we do see the Jägers up in the north here. Finally start engaging. Jägers here gonna get on this Indian rifles. Storm Jägers also moving forward. Panzer Jäger is coming up, but not quite quick enough there. Stuck coming in. Sturmhaubitze coming in. Second off-map charge being used on the town. This Erzherztruppen was gonna come in here and rush down this line. Might actually get a surrender on all these units. There's a carrier command here, which might not get pinned down enough, but certainly still relatively dangerous there. Sturmhaubitze bouncing the AT gun that was sitting over here, and it does manage to kill it. The Jäger Pioneers do kill off the last of the Indian rifles. Two more have come into support, but yeah, dedicated CQC versus not even like good at CQC. The only thing they have got going for them is the Bren, which only increases their DPS by another 0.5. So we got like a 0.3, 0.5, maybe 0.7 for the rifles in total, and then we've got at least 1.3 for the G43s, another 0.3, and then the TNT on top of that. So yeah, still no AA here. Spitfire does force back these units. Let's see, he is left not pinned down. Field engineers coming in for that. Doesn't manage to surrender any of these units, though. And, the off-map did go down. Sturmjäger in this position now. The Jäger Pioneers actually get pinned down by the Sherman, so... Panzer you were needed at the front. Not quite there. Sturmjäger very low on health. Black Feeling finally coming in to replace the, AA that we saw earlier. Sturmhaubitze 42 coming in for the center as well, to support the second one. So 4 Sturmhaubitze in total, and that's a lot of 2k damage here. Now with this on the road, get a bit of recon here, and just blast all these units here. Spitfire coming in, Black 43 still up and running. The PL 4.5 144mm now is going to start doing some good work, particularly on this MG42. I wonder what his radio. Surely it's not. Oh, it won't probably be the carrier commander, the rifles leader here. Might just barely hit radio range on the IG-33, which has provided a lot of value throughout this game. Field engineers get surrounded. Looks like the Panzerhaubitze, or no, the Panzerfaust did go down. These Jägers pushing forward a little bit too zealously, as the Pak-38 is not going to make its way out top. And there's not really a lot of infantry, but at that kind of a range, I would wager the 50 cals on the Sherman are going to do more than a fine job at pinning that down. Sturmjäger, yeah. There's still an MG42 versus a bunch of Bren rifles, so not the worst engagement in the world. Once Jäger here finally coming forward. This thing's going to go down. It is a 14-10. Lumi does have to keep the tick up, or else he's going to have to counterattack. And a counterattack C-Phase Maverick, very, very hard to pull off. So, in the spirit of Maverick versus Maverick games, let's not sit here watching 80 points of income for 20 minutes. And let's take it to a times 2. Oop. There we go. I know how to use the UI. Hurricane Mark 4. So, the question is now, can Mimile provide the comeback? Pak-38 gets pinned down, like I said. Flak Feeling getting lots of damage on that Hurricane, though. So, won't be seeing it for much longer. There's just one Sherman up here, though. And the Martyrs, they have a fast rate of fire. They do get the kill there. And now the Sturmjäger's following up. Field Engineers, too, take a lot of damage, and these Field Engineers might also go down. Do manage to kill the Jäger there. Sturmjäger coming up. Ooh. Is the Martyr 3 going to get on target? Yep. This is going to take out another transport, and that's really not what you want to see. Surprised these Sturmhaubitze aren't helping against these Kirkus rifles at this carrier command, but more cheap 2-star Jägers coming in. Black 43 does force this off. Panzer completely in the wrong position here, and the very powerful position has actually been taken. The Indian Assault Pioneers once again. Oh, man. Freaking Raider trait. Does get this flag back, so it's still a 14-10, but now 15-9. 10 minutes left on the clock. Still 42 coming in. Spitfire forced to fall back. Jägers are going to clean out the rest of this town. The artillery is doing its best. But, yeah, really just a lack of support units here. And to be fair, there's not a lot of support units on the other enemy's side either. The Stoke does get the kill on that Sherman there, despite the Sherman having the jump on it. Yeah, Sturmhaubitze here as well. Got some good shots on here. Jäger now versus these units out in the open with the Sturmhaubitze supporting. Number 5 does have to be a little bit careful. These units do all have Panzerfaust on 20mm range. Would just have to rush forward and shoot at that, but it's going to retreat the Sherman. More Jäger coming in with the Stugas though. Anyway, definitely having saved up for this. Sherman 5 goes down here. Stugas managed to take it back the north side, and with this north side, all this armor here, it's going to be very hard to prevent the exceedingly cheap infantry from really just pushing forward here. We finally see an off-map vehicle coming, as the Sturmhaubitze might actually get on target onto the Bofors here and kill that. This does not be the kind of thing you want at this stage of the game. Jäger's out in the open. Off-map is going to be dropped, but no units really to reinforce here, instead choosing all these units down here, and we see, well, even more cheap as that's open, coming in to try and capture this flag. You have the Sturmhaubitze supporting it, so maybe not the worst thing in the world. Stug 3 here, though, is firing at the Sherman together with the Sturmhaubitze, so that's going to have to move back and does actually die to the Stug there. And now, there's no AT besides this rifles leader. They can prevent the Stug from just raining chaos down there. 2 more coming in, but there are 2 Bofors here, yeah, so gotta be forced to fall back. Second one does manage to get its bombs off on the Gurkha's rifles, so no chance of retaking this flag. Sturmhaubitze here, not really in position, but managed to make those Gurkha's rifles fall back, and really don't see a way back from Mimile here. Which is nice to see. Looks like we are going to get a game 5. Alright. Sturmhaubitze here. Where's the Sherman? Sherman doesn't really have the penetration to deal with it, but the Sturmhaubitze notoriously unreliable heat shells, so on the 6-pounder there, likely are going to get the kill. It's going to move off, but then it just gets side shot. IG-33, 2 Jägers coming in. Now I just see how effective these Jägers really are going to be in this position. These units, once again, no recon to spot them, so they do manage to squeak by the IG in the Stug here. Stug was out of HE, so no surprise there, but Sturmhaubitze as well. Another off-map coming in, but now the Jägers are just rushing forward for this flag. Sherman goes down, probably to the Sturmhaubitze's heat shell. Almost the last shot there, as multiple Jägers are now going to get into this town as well. And having taken this back, the Assault Pioneers finally having died. It's a really super efficient flag there, so. And even down in the middle here, right, the artillery is doing a lot of work against these units, and that kind of support unit is needed. During Phase B of the game, at least. Indian rifles versus... Yeah, Jäger, no chance there. And now there's an excellent position here, together with the Martyr, to be able to fend back any assault up north. The town's firmly under control. Lots more units out in the open here. The open just completely range. And wow, look, he does have recon. What a surprise. Why didn't we see this earlier, right? Like, we saw a couple of recce out for the other player, so... Shouldn't have been that hard to pull off. Stug coming in. Buck feeling still in position. This AC op map. Thought they did get a kill on that Stug, surprisingly. Potentially a Hurricane came in. But this could just be rushed down by the infantry, really. You move forward till they kill it with the Panzerfaust. Did manage to take this flag back. We're going to get the kill on the Gurkha's rifles. This flag is also going to go in Homayoun's favor. The Indian rifles here are going to get the better of the Azatstolpen, but... yeah, they do just go down there. But, yeah, 2 bombers now coming in. No AA here, really, either, so... going to be forced to fall back, and if they're falling back, the rate of retreat might actually finally get these units surrounded. Giga Fusilier is the Sherman, though. Ooh, get a bit of down in time. Yes, it can, but there's a Panzerjäger over here. And he's going to get the Panzerfaust on target onto that Sherman. Stug. Ooh, might get pietted. Does get pietted. Wow, having lots of luck there. Gurkha's rifles Do get pretty close to the Stoma, but do manage to kill it as well. But that is game. A little bit too little, too late. There in phase C for Mimile. Was starting to create something. Does have a positive KD here, but the cost efficiency of the Jäger is really coming out on top there. And bringing Homayoun back to a 2-2. Yeah. Whew. Surprised we don't see the IG-33 having more kills here, but I suppose Mimile is on point with his retreat play. Shtook 3 did a lot of damage here. And this IG-33 did excellently, so that 2K support unit's very powerful. Stormy in the right situation as well. And yeah, all his armor just trading very well and very effectively. By the time it was dead, the game was over. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you for Game 5 in the epic conclusion of Division 3. Thank you very much, and goodbye.